So now BBC One, the football that beat the freeze. It's today's final score with Mark Chapman.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters.
The latest score is Wigan go through the defender.
John Terry's tears we all know. It was 2 crucial weeks.
I went there as a 15-year-old, so it was, my memories of the club are always fantastic. I was lucky enough to play there. I went back and managed there. I had great times there, loved it. We're going okay at the moment, but we know it's a long, hard road for us. We've got to keep picking up points, keep pushing on if we can.
I think our fans have been particularly faithful and loyal to us because we've had a tough spell with things going against us. Now we've just got to find a way to just make sure that we continue being a stable Premiership side and then look to next year.
A few weeks ago, people were talking about QPR and Reading as the two that are going to go. I look at it now and we're getting closer to teams. It's going to be an interesting last how many games left, but I'm looking forward to every single one of them.
Sometimes the teams need to have a go at you when they play at home, and if anything, you always want to be better, and we need to start getting more points at home and have the DW Stadium as a real fortress from now until the end of the season.
All eyes on the bottom of the league this afternoon with QPR, Reading, Wigan and Newcastle all in action. Manchester City are the only team in the top 6 currently playing. 2 men in no danger, I am told, of being relegated from the final score group of pundits, Garth, Crooks and Dion, Dublin. Before we let those boys loose, here are your current scores in the Barclays Premier League. And Liverpool are absolutely cruising against Norwich. Jordan Henderson smashed in a superb opener. Luis Suarez, Daniel Sturridge, Steven Gerrard and a Ryan Bennett own goal means they're 5-0 up at Anfield. David Silva has scored both for Manchester City. They're 2-0 up against Fulham. Johan Cabaye got a free kick for Newcastle. Adam Lafondra bundled in an equaliser for Reading. That's 1-1. Stoke are 2-0 down at Swansea. Ben Davies broke the deadlock. He's Swansea's youngest ever Premier League goal scorer at 19. An early debut goal for Loic Remy put QPR ahead at West Ham. Joe Cole got his first West Ham goal in 10 years to equalise, and it's Wigan 1, Sunderland 3. 2 of Martin O'Neill's men's goals coming from Stephen Fletcher. Let's get more information on all of those games. We'll start at Upton Park and Jonathan Ledyard.
Humdinger here. We got just over 15 minutes to go. West Ham have the equaliser they've been chasing for half the game, and this one could go either way. Joe Cole's first goal since rejoining West Ham has breathed new life into the home side, because at one stage it seemed a one-man show with Julio César in the Rangers goal just defying everything that West Ham could throw at them. Chamakh having headers, Carlton Cole having a header saved, but there was Joe Cole to tap it in. All this after Loic Remy on his QPR debut had given the away team the lead after 14 minutes. A lovely pass from Tarat, and it's been a feature of the match the way these two have linked superbly together, but they've only got one goal to show for it. West Ham have equalised and we've got a tense finale.
Garth, you've been paying close attention to this game. There's promise in the Tarat-Remy partnership, but West Ham have been excellent in the second half.
Absolutely. West Ham have really raised the temperature the longer the game's gone on. They've taken risks and fortunately they've got their rewards. Remy, the new signing for QPR, looks quick, he looks hungry for goals, and with Tarat behind him, that could prove to be a fundamental partnership for the survival of QPR.
We are going to go straight to St James's Park. Newcastle a goal up at half-time on Reading, but Brian McDermott's men got one back, and now, Paul Addison,
problems.
This is an absolutely remarkable turnaround from Reading, and in particular, Mark, Adam Le Fondre, who's barely been on the pitch as a second-half substitute for 10 minutes. He scored his first, the equaliser, after Jimmy Kebe cross was missed by Mike Williamson, and he bundled it in from close range. This time, it was a superb finish from inside the area, cross from the left, knocked down, wasn't cleared, and Le Fondre with his right foot beat Tim Krul. Johan Cabaye had given Newcastle a lead with a superb first half free kick, and they appeared to be in control, but now the Geordie natives are restless. They're losing 2-1.
It was like I'd called Paul Addison but heard a noise from over there. It was amazing how he threw his voice. This game, right? Yeah. I spoke to Brian McDermott last week. He told me that Adam Le Fondre makes such an impact when he comes on from the bench. Didn't call him a super sub, doesn't want that title for him. But the impact that he can make from the bench, because he has energy and he can find space when maybe defences are tired.
What he does, he makes the defenders that he's playing against on their toes. And that, where is he? Where is he? And it puts him off their game. That's how clever he is. Puts himself into a position, Chappers, to score goals all the time. And as Garth's going to tell you something about Jimmy Kebe, who's been absolutely fantastic.
Go on, you're champing at the bit.
He told you. It was fantastic. Kebe's been a thorn in Newcastle's side the entire game. Superb performance by him. And this has been a regular occurrence for Kebe for the last 3 or 4 games that I've seen him play. But what's interesting, you said about Le Fondre, there was a moment there, Mark, when he's looking to get in again. He's already scored 2 goals. He's looking for his hat-trick, and the ball doesn't come, and he's furious. He's always looking for the goal. A bit
it's
like
a great finish, that second goal as well.
But he reminds me very much like Tony Cotte, always on the shoulder, always looking to get in.
And as things stand, Reading would just be 2 points behind Newcastle. Reading will be out of the bottom 3 ahead of Aston Villa's game at West Brom at tea time. Newcastle will be 16th, 2 points ahead of them. If Reading have turned it round at St James's Park earlier on this afternoon, Sunderland completely turned it round at Wigan, didn't they, James Mason?
Certainly did. They went behind very early on, Mark, but since then it's been all Sunderland. A game started so well for Roberto Martinez' side, and it's finishing well for them, but they've just got too much to do. As I say that, Mark, a goal for Wigan. They're back in this game, and it's Angelo Henriquez on loan from Manchester United who scored. We were just saying in the press box, if this game was 2-1, it would be very nervy for Sunderland. It's now 3-2, so it will be very nervy indeed. I'll bring you up to date with the tail of the tape. David Vaughan scored an own goal very early on to put Wigan in the lead. A penalty from Gardner drew Sunderland level. 2 goals from Fletcher made it very easy, but that goal from Henriquez has set us up for a grandstand finish with about 12 minutes to go. It's Wigan Athletic 2, Sunderland 3.
2 for the afternoon now for Billy Mackay, 20 for the season. Inverness as they chase Celtic, a 3-0 up on Aberdeen. Wigan have been creating chances in this second half.
3-1, I said to Dion, do you think Wigan can get a draw? He went, yeah, they can actually. They've got 11 minutes to do that, and they look odds on. I wonder what odds you get now for Wigan to actually to pull this round from 3-1 to get a point at 3-3. Now, this is crucial because Reading look like, at the moment, they're going to get points at St James's Park. QPR are going to get points. If I was Chris Hughton, I'd be looking over my shoulder. I'd be very worried.
Dion's giggling because he's just... what's gone on at Swansea?
There's a goal at Swansea.
Yeah, I was just checking that was why you were giggling and not what Garth was saying. Jason Mohammed.
It's a terrific goal, and it's John de Guzman, and it all came from a wonderful back heel on the halfway line from Angel Rangel. Played it into Wayne Routledge, who then played it in turn to John de Guzman to score his second goal. It really is a delicious goal. You'll see it on Match of the Day tonight. Danny Graham instrumental as well. Swansea City cruising 3-0 up against Stoke City.
Danny Graham.
You won't see a better touch than Danny Graham's, will you there?
You know what, if that was a Suarez or I don't know, Ronaldo or Messi, they'd be talking. That's a great touch from Graham there, just to put it in his path. Makes it easy for him.
Stuck an extra £1 million on his transfer fee.
His transfer fee is just shot up.
Good lad.
He's rumoured to be on the move during this transfer window. Hull, when they've scored first this season, haven't dropped a point. But now it looks like they might do this afternoon because Peterborough are back in it. Andrew James.
That's right, Mark. Hull will have to score again to avoid that statistic going wrong. Grant McCann, Peterborough's substitute, has come on and scored from the penalty spot after Tommy Rowe was brought down by James Chester. Hull taking a first-half lead with an own goal from Joe Newell. It's disrupted Hull's chances of getting back into the top 2 at the moment. Peterborough 1, Hull City 1.
We're going to go to Anfield next, where Richard Askham has witnessed a very, very good Liverpool performance today.
They've been outstanding today, Mark. They really have. This refashioned Liverpool team have played with real fluidity and sharpness. Daniel Sturridge, very impressive on his Anfield debut, and crucially interchanging with Luis Suarez, which has also brought the best out of the Uruguayan. Suarez's persistence made the first for Jordan Henderson a really good goal. The midfielder picked ahead of Joe Allen, firing in a stunning shot from the edge of the box. Suarez grabbed the second after a clever dummy from Sturridge, who was on the end of a smart volley cross from Stuart Downing. A typical long-range shot from Steven Gerrard brought a fourth, and then an own goal from the unfortunate Ryan Bennett has completed what is a rout. Really sums up Norwich's day as well. Grant Holt starting today for the first time since coming back from that hamstring problem. He's hardly had a kick.
Alan Judge's 5th of the season means Notts County are level with Sheffield United. They're down to 10 men as well, but it's Notts County 1, Sheffield United 1, and Walsall, who are 2-1 up at home to Bournemouth, are down to 10 men. Fabian Brandy has been sent off there, but Walsall still ahead. It's been a comfortable afternoon for the champions in the Premier League. Will Perry.
It has been, yeah, but it's been all about David Silva, really, for the team who are in the silver medal position in the Premier League so far. City didn't really kick on after going ahead after just 1 minute and 40 seconds through the little Spaniard. Edin Dzeko's shot was palmed by Mark Schwarzer right in front of Silva, who just sort of picked out the bottom right-hand corner, and the guys in the studio were saying that perhaps Schwarzer was at fault for that. Fulham gave it a real go, though. They held out for about an hour or so, lots of possession in City's half. City then turned on the style 23 minutes into the second half. Carlos Tevez pulled off a clever little flick. He found Silva, who ran into the box, one touch, and dinked a shot over Schwarzer. And then actually here comes City again with Sergio Aguero, who's come on as a substitute and checks back onto his right foot to find David Silva and lays up to Dzeko, who tries to find the top right corner, and it's just wide. Where was I though? Tevez with some brilliant play before to find Silva for his second of the afternoon. City are going to close the gap at the top to 4 points. The psychological pressure will be on Manchester United to go to Tottenham tomorrow. As I mentioned, Aguero on. He hasn't played since New Year's Day because of a hamstring injury. City are solid but far from exceptional. They lead Fulham by 2-0.
At 2 for the afternoon for Mattia Vydra. At 16 for the season, it's another comfortable win for Watford as they look to cement a playoff place. Watford 3, Huddersfield 0. How the ball isn't in the back of the QPR net, we have no idea, Jonathan Ledyard.
No, and nor probably as Harry Redknapp, but it's tin hat time, absolutely, for Julio Cesar, Clint Hill, Ryan Nelson, and the entire QPR team, actually, although they've got a break now with Remy. I'll also say, just pick up what Garth was saying about the spirit of the team. I've seen plenty of QPR performances this season, and this is by far the best, and above all, it's by far the most spirited. Stefan Umdir, who at one stage when he first joined seemed completely disinterested, has been quite outstanding today, putting his body on the line every time. He took a whack on the foot. He just also headed something clear now. It's an outstanding performance, and it may well earn them a point, although West Ham are doing everything they can to make sure it's none, and 3 for them. 5 minutes to go.
Fantastic game of football, Garth.
Fantastic. It's been a battle royale. I mean, it's swung, ebbed and flowed. I do want QPR to get something out of there because they've put bodies on the line. I can't wait to hear what Harry Redknapp's got to say at the end of the game because it's been about sort of defending for your life. Must-see game also is Newcastle Reading. To see how Reading have turned this around again, and it's going to be a long week for Alan Pardew if he loses this game.
Let's go into the SPL, shall we? Because Celtic were 2-1 up on Hearts, and there's been another goal. Crucial one there, Ian Turner.
It is. Celtic will take all 3 points. A 19th of the 20th of the season, a second of this match for Gary Hooper. Close range again, just 6 yards out, fired it diagonally into the corner, and it really has eased the Celtic nerves. Hooper and Samaras in the first half. Jason Holt pulled one back for Hearts. That made it nervy, but Hooper's tied it up. Celtic 3, Hearts 1.
The pressure is all on Sunderland at the DW Stadium. James Mason.
It is indeed. Wigan are attacking non-stop. They're really pushing for this win. The 2 new signings, should I say the win, the draw would help, wouldn't it? And then if they get the win, even better. Angelo Enriquez and Roger Espinoza, they're 2 substitutes that have come on this second half, have really changed things for them. And Sean Maloney's just signed a new contract for Wigan. He's the main instigator of everything they do. He's been brilliant. We've got 5 minutes to go, Chappers, and it is still game on. It's 3-2.
So there's urgency at Upton Park, there's urgency at the DW Stadium. Is there the same urgency at St James's Park? Paul Addison.
Well, it doesn't seem to be, from Newcastle. They've completely lost their way in this game. Up until 71 minutes, Mark, it was all about the return to fitness of Yohan Cabaye. He'd scored the only goal of the game up to that point. He was controlling the match, but then Adam Le Fondre came on 70 minutes, scored the equaliser 71 minutes, then scored Reading's second on 77 minutes. And I've got to tell you that Cabaye has since been substituted along with Marvo and Anita, and each one greeted with boos from the Newcastle fans, who are not very happy at all here. Newcastle appear, with 3 minutes left, to be a spent force. They're losing 2-1.
Walsall are down to 10 men. Bournemouth are on an unbeaten run of 15 games in League One, and yet they've just extended their lead at the Bescot. That's 2 this afternoon for Will Grigg. That one from the penalty spot, and it's 10 for the season for him. Let's go into the Championship. Another week, more managers making their managerial debuts. Let's start with Sean O'Driscoll for Bristol City at Leeds. Harry Gratian.
Yes, he knows how tough it's going to be to keep Bristol City in the Championship. Leeds aren't playing well, it has to be said, but they lead, and the scorer was McCormack. He deserved it. He had 2 or 3 chances in the first half. He's headed after 67 minutes, underlining that Leeds have been a lot better in this second 45. They lead 1-0, 6 left.
And David Flitcroft is now in permanent charge of Barnsley, and they're at Ipswich. Robin Bailey.
Yes, it's Ipswich 0, Barnsley 0. Ipswich 1, Barnsley 0. This relegation encounter is still in the balance, but Ipswich have their noses in front from Luke Chambers, the central defender who profited from a David McGoldrick knockdown. Big blow for Barnsley, though. They had Stephen Dawson carried off, but it's still 1-0 and the game in the balance.
And is it in the balance at Ewood Park? Now's Premji Michael Appleton's first game in charge of Blackburn.
Yes, it is. Blackburn Rovers 1, Charlton Athletic 2. The cavalry are on for Blackburn. Appleton's made changes. Morton, Gamps, Pedersen and Nuno Gomez, the latest attacking threat. Charlton are hanging on. Bodies on the line. It's Blackburn 1, Charlton Athletic 2.
QPR have just had another attack at Upton Park. They look shattered, Jonathan Ledyard.
They are, but somehow they're maintaining their commitment, and that is what has kept them in this game. West Ham have been unflagging, unstinting in their free-flowing attacks, with Shamak at the fulcrum of it, then Carlton Cole, Joe Cole having his best game so far, and another chance and another boot cleared as West Ham come forward yet again, and still the blue and white hoops somehow stand firm. We're now into stoppage time, and it's still 1-1, and the ball just goes out for another West Ham corner.
Don't those stats tell it that they were on the screen there? 21 attempts for West Ham, 13 on target.
And they're putting QPR under... It's a bombardment, because they're just hanging the ball in the penalty area, and everybody's going and they're going for the second ball. It's tough for QPR. Never
mind the players looking shattered. Jonathan sounds shattered. Wraith have beaten Hamilton twice already this season, but they look like they might lose it this afternoon in Scottish Division 1. A Lawrence Ellis own goal has put the visitors ahead, and Johnny Russell has hit a hat-trick for Dundee United this afternoon, and they are 3-1 up now at Kilmarnock, and it looks like they'll get all 3 points. Are Reading going to get all 3 points at St James's Park? Paul Addison.
Well, Mark, we're into 4 minutes of added on time here by 20 seconds, and Newcastle desperately, of course, trying to attack to get what would be such a valuable equaliser here, but it's just not happening for them. Every time they get into the Reading penalty area, linesman on the far side sticks his flag up for offside, and Reading breathe a collective sigh of relief. They've got to hold on for another 3 minutes for what would be their first Premier League away win of the season. They're winning 2-1.
Celtic have just extended their lead. They're now 4-1 up on Hearts. They will get all 3 points. Roberto Martinez will be fuming if Wigan don't get something out of this game, because in the second half they have been all over Sunderland, James Mason.
I count 6 or 7 very good chances. We're in time added on now if Wigan are going to get something from this game. Beausejour, Enriquez, Maloney have all had chances, and Wigan keep on pushing and pushing. There's around 5,000 Sunderland fans holding their breath. They're hoping for back-to-back wins. Simon Mignolet's got the ball at the moment. He's going to kick forward. as we approach the final kicks of the game. It's still Wigan 2, Sunderland 3.
But you see, Roberto Martinez has got to ask why his players have been so good in this second half, but so insipid in the first.
Do you get the best out of your players when they're under severe pressure? Do you get the best out of them?
Well, there seems to at Wigan.
Where they need to do something, they need to play, they need to create chances. Garth's been saying it in my ear, they won't go long, they won't go long. They're just continuing to pass. Brilliant, Wigan.
Final whistle's starting to go, but they're still playing at Wigan, they're still playing at Upton Park, they're still playing at St James's Park, but it's all over at Anfield. An impressive Liverpool win, Richard Askham.
Yes, indeed. Liverpool were outstanding at Anfield this afternoon against the Norwich side, who simply had no answers. Brendan Rodgers solved the problem of who would play centre forward by allowing Luis Suarez and Daniel Sturridge to swap almost at will. With Downing and Henderson joining in, it was very difficult to stop. Henderson, growing under Rodgers, scored the first, a sublime strike from the edge of the box. Daniel Sturridge with a dummy and Suarez a composed finish combined for the second. Sturridge grabbed the third himself. Steven Gerrard, a long-range shot, made it 4 before an own goal from Ryan Bennett rather summed up the match. Grant Holt's return did nothing to galvanise Norwich. Daniel Sturridge certainly did that for the home side.
3 for the season for Matt Smith. Late equaliser for Oldham at the Rico. It's now Coventry 1, Oldham 1, and there's been a late goal at Swansea. How are your eyes deceiving you, Jason Mohammed?
I cannot believe it. It's one Michael Owen. Do you remember him? He scored. He's claimed it anyway. I'm not too sure if it takes a touch off Ashley Williams as it goes into the box, but Michael Owen has claimed it. Swansea City 3, a late consolation for Stoke City. They've scored through Michael Owen.
It's his first goal since October 2011 for Michael Owen. Back to St James's Park, Paul Addison.
We've got about 30 seconds left, and Colaccini and Kebe having a bit of afters here. You can see, you'll be able to see on the pictures later on a Match of the Day, Colaccini's sleeve has been pulled nearly off him by Kebe, who's been booked by the referee, and Reading still leading by 2-1, and we've seconds left.
2 late goals for Hamilton. Stephen May has scored that 7th for the season. Wraithnell Hamilton 2. Back to Jonathan at Upton Park.
We are still playing. The ball is in the air, heading down towards Jaskalainen's goal. And there is Remy in with a chance. It's still all to play for at both ends. The ball is hooked clear, and thankfully it's not a slice clear St Tompkins, which could have gone the wrong way and past Jaskalainen. The ball has just gone from end to end. It's been absolutely spectacular in one way. It's not quite the quality that you would have expected if you'd thought of Lionel Messi or Pep Guardiola, but in terms of effort, in terms of energy, and in terms of drama, with Howard Webb still not looking at his watch, still not about to blow his whistle, it's still 1-1, and both teams still going for 3 points.
Inverness Caledonian Thistle continue to chase Celtic. They've won this afternoon. They've beaten Aberdeen 3-0. Newcastle have just given away a silly free kick. Paul Addison.
They have, and Reading are taking their time, and Andre Mariner, the referee, is pointing at his watch as if to tell them, I've stopped it until you get the game moving again. The game is moving, but now the game is over, and what a stunning victory this is for Reading. And as you can hear from the boos in the background, Newcastle's problems continue. They were 1-0 up and cruising at half-time through a superb Kabaye free kick, but they didn't turn up in the second half. Reading substitute Adam Lafondra did. He came on in the 70th minute. He scored a minute after that, and then he got what turned out to be the Reading winner on 77 minutes. How important will this prove for Brian McDermott? How damning will it prove for Alan Pardew? Newcastle 1, Reading 2.
They are out of the bottom 3 as it
will feel frustrated. QPR relieved. It's 1-1, but Harry Redknapp's team are still bottom.
Late equaliser for Nikola Zigic, his 6th of the season.
Edin Dzeko had a brilliant chance to add a third for City right at the end. A comfortable day on the blue side of Manchester. All eyes on White Hart Lane tomorrow. Manchester City 2, Fulham 0.
Late equaliser for David Flitcroft's Barnsley. Ipswich still to win in 2013. Ipswich 1, Barnsley 1, and it's all over at the DW Stadium, and Martin O'Neill's Sunderland have held on, James Mason.
And breathes a huge sigh of relief. A wonderful game for the neutral, but perhaps not for either manager. Much to praise about both sides, but equally much to lament. Wigan took the lead through a David Vaughan on goal. Craig Gardner levelled from the penalty spot. Stephen Fletcher scored twice in quick succession, his second a pinpoint strike with his left foot to give Sunderland a healthy half-time lead. But as Roberto Martinez made changes in the second, Wigan created chance after chance. Loan signing Angelo Henriquez powering in a header to allow for a grandstand finish, but it wasn't to be, and ended Wigan 2, Sunderland 3.
Been a very good afternoon for Michael Laudrup, and Swansea. Their win over Stoke has been watched by Jason Mohammed.
This is not the story of Premier League hotshot Michu. The day belongs to Swansea City's young left-back Ben Davies. Scored his first goal for Michael Laudrup's team. That was after some poor Stoke defending. But Davies showed Michu how it's done with a great finish. Michu kind of off target today. Should have scored in the first half, heading over after good work from Angel Rangel. John de Guzman's free kick was beautiful. But Charlie Adam, what were you thinking? Giving away a silly foul on the edge of the box. De Guzman got Swansea's third before Michael Owen, remember him, scored his first goal since the 25th of October 2011. Swansea City 3, Stoke City 1.
Oldham thought they got a late equaliser in League One. Looks like Coventry have got a late winner through James Bailey. Coventry 2, Oldham 1. In the SPL, leaders Celtic have thrashed Hearts by 4-1. And in the Championship, Andrew James, Hull City have been held at Peterborough.
Yes, it's finished Peterborough 1, Hull City 1, and Hull City should really have claimed all 3 points today. They had a first half lead, Joe Newell's own goal, but then Peterborough sent on Grant McCann for the second half. How valuable that was. He stepped up to take the penalty after Tommy Rowe had been fouled, and McCann scoring to level the scores. Peterborough United 1, Hull City 1.
League One leaders Tranmere have won at inform Brentford. Brentford 1, Tranmere 2. They have been unbeaten in 13 at Uwe Rosler's men, but they've lost this afternoon, and Barnsley left it late to get a point at Ipswich. Robin Bailey.
Yes, it isn't over yet, actually, Mark. They've still got a minute to play, but Danny Rose has stolen that point for Barnsley. It's a vital point, surely, for David Flitcroft, who has seen a really good performance from his Barnsley side after one of their players was carried off after only 8 minutes. They've done really well. Ipswich scored through Luke Chambers. Looks like being 1-1 here.
Another new manager at Ewood Park, but as Premji, a defeat for Michael Appleton this afternoon.
Yes, Mark, Blackburn Rovers 1, Charlton Athletic 2. Michael Appleton's first game in charge doesn't go to plan thanks to a blockbuster strike from Dale Stevens and a Jan Kermorgant header which secured victory for Charlton. Jordan Rhodes scored between the two of Charlton efforts, a diving header, but boos for the Venkies at full time as well. A dodgy and a thought-provoking start for Michael Appleton. It's finished here, Blackburn Rovers 1, Charlton Athletic 2.
Well, you can have your say on all the day's action, and there's a lot to talk about. Robbie Savage will join me on BBC Radio 5 Live for 6:06, at 6:06, and 5 Live also have full commentary on Spurs against Manchester United tomorrow afternoon from 4 o'clock. But here are all today's football results, read by Mike West.
And beginning with the Barclays Premier League, Liverpool 5, Norwich City 0. Manchester City 2, Fulham 0. Newcastle United 1, Reading 2. Swansea City 3, Stoke City 1. West Bromwich Albion against Aston Villa, an evening kick-off at 5:30. West Ham United 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. And Wigan Athletic 2, Sunderland 3. On to the Empire Championship, Birmingham City 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Blackburn Rovers 1, Charlton Athletic 2. Blackpool against Cardiff City, an evening kick-off at 5:20. Crystal Palace 0, Bolton Wanderers 0. Derby County 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Ipswich Town 1, Barnsley 1. Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0. Millwall 0, Burnley 2. Peterborough United 1, Hull City 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And Watford 4, Huddersfield Town 0 is a latest score. In the Empire League 1, Brentford 1, Tranmere Rovers 2. Bury against Stevenage, match postponed. Coventry City 2, Oldham Athletic 1. Crawley Town against Carlisle United and Crewe Alexandra against the Milton Keynes Dons, both postponed. Doncaster Rovers 2, Leyton Orient 0. Hartlepool United against Colchester United, match postponed. Notts County 1, Sheffield United 1. Scunthorpe United against Portsmouth, match postponed. Swindon Town 2, Shrewsbury Town 0. Walsall 3, AFC Bournemouth 1 is a latest score. And the match between Yeovil Town and Preston North End also postponed. In the Empire League 2, just 3 matches today. Northampton Town 1, Burton Albion 0. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. And York City 0, Aldershot Town 0. On to the Blue Square Bet Premier. AFC Telford United 0, Alfreton Town 0. Ebbsfleet United against Tamworth, Hereford United against Dartford, Hyde against Cambridge United and Lincoln City against Wrexham, all postponed. Macclesfield Town 1, Kidderminster 0. Newport County 0, Barrow 2. Nuneaton Town against Luton Town, match postponed. Southport 1, Mansfield Town 2. And Stockport County 2, Forest Green Rovers 1. Into Scotland and the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League. Celtic 4, Hearts 1. Hibernian 1, Dundee 1. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 3, Aberdeen 0. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee United 3. And St Mirren 1, Ross County 4. The Iron Brew Scottish Division 1, Airdrie United 1, Dumbarton 2. Cowdenbeath against Dunfermline, match postponed. Greenock Morton 2, Livingston 1. Partick Thistle 4, Falkirk 1. And Wraith Rovers 0, Hamilton Academical 2. The Scottish Division 2, Alloa Athletic 1, East Fife 1. Ayr United against Stenhousemuir and Brechin City against Albion Rovers, both postponed. Queen of the South 3, Forfar Athletic 1. And Stranraer against Arbroath, also postponed. The Scottish Division 3, Berwick Rangers against Elgin City, match postponed. East Stirlingshire 0, Queen's Park 2. Montrose 1, Clyde 1. And Stirling Albion against Annan Athletic, match postponed. In the Corbett Sports Welsh Premier, just 2 matches being played. Avon Lido 0, Llanelli 0 is a latest score. And Prestatyn Town 1, Airbus UK Broughton 2, also a latest score. Lastly, the Danske Bank Irish Premiership, Ballina-Mallard 3, Glenavon 1. Coleraine 3, Lisbon Distillery 1. Crusaders 5, Ballymena United 1. Donegal Celtic against Linfield and Glentoran against the Dungannon Swifts, both postponed. And finally, Portadown 1, Cliftonville 3.
A couple of late kick-offs for you. These games have now ended. Watford 4, Huddersfield Town 0, and Walsall have beaten informed Bournemouth by 3-1. Here are all the tables for you. This Saturday tea time, Manchester United are in action against Spurs tomorrow, so City have closed the gap to within 4 points with their win over Fulham. Liverpool and Swansea both jump a place. West Brom go from 7th to 9th, but they're about to kick off at 5:30 against Aston Villa. And despite their good form, QPR are now 4 adrift at the bottom. Aston Villa second from bottom after Reading moved out of the drop zone altogether thanks to that win at Newcastle. As far as the Championship is concerned, Cardiff kick off against Blackpool shortly, knowing that victory will put them 10 clear at the top. Leicester beat Borough last night. Hull and Crystal Palace both drew this afternoon. Bristol City are now 3 points adrift at the bottom after the 5 sides immediately above them all drew. None of the teams in the bottom half actually won this afternoon. Tranmere and Doncaster both won today, so they're still neck and neck at the top of League One. Paolo Di Canio Swindon have gone from 5th to 3rd. And at the bottom, Hartlepool remain cut adrift, but there was very little change in the whole of that bottom half. In League 2, only 3 matches survived the Arctic conditions. The only fixture that affected the top half of the table saw Northampton go into 6th place after beating playoff rivals Burton Albion. And at the bottom, struggling Aldershot got a point at York, while Wycombe won to give themselves a 10-point safety cushion. As far as the Blue Square Premier is concerned, Wrexham still lead the chase for promotion. They didn't play today, but Newport missed the chance to go top after losing at home to Barrow. And that shock win for Barrow lifts them off the bottom, and that last place is now occupied by Ebbsfleet. And there were home wins in the SPL for both Celtic and Inverness, so the gap remains 9. Motherwell can go alongside Inverness if they beat St Johnstone tomorrow. At the bottom, Dundee are now 11 adrift of Ross County, who won comfortably at St Mirren. an awful lot of stories as far as the football is concerned across the country. Let's focus on the Premier League. It was a sensational game of football at Upton Park, where it finished West Ham 1, QPR 1. Let's talk to Motti. I could ask you a deep and meaningful tactical question, Motti, but I'd rather just say, what a game of football.
Yeah, I've never seen a better 1-1 draw than this. Well, not for years anyway. I mean, it was terrific. And, of course, it got off to the kind of headline start that some of us thought might happen. Loic Remy, the man whose transfer has caused so much interest and controversy this week, put Queen's Park Rangers ahead in the 13th minute. A very good pass from Tarat, who played behind him today. This is the way Harry Redknapp sees these two working. And for the rest of the game, really, West Ham were left to sort of bombard the QPR penalty area. And for a long, long time, it didn't look as if they were going to get through, Mark. In the end, it was another little storybook thing. Joe Cole, back with his old club on the ground where he scored against West Ham for Liverpool a few weeks ago. He got the equaliser, and frankly, there were so many crosses piling into the QPR box that you've got to again say how well they're defending at the moment. They've got an accomplished goalkeeper. Ryan Nelson and Hill are playing out of their skins, and to be honest with you, although West Ham had 85% of the possession, Sam Allardyce might say 95%, the fact of the matter is, for their sheer resilience, Queen's Park Rangers deserved the point and convinced me yet again that they will stay up.
Motti, thank you very much. They're 4 points adrift at the bottom, albeit actually 4 points adrift from safety, because the three clubs above them all have 19 points. Yeah. And that resilience will please Harry Redknapp probably as much as Loic Remy's debut goal.
It was a feature of their game, Mark. It was absolutely superb. You watched them on Match of the Day tonight. I don't know who's going to be one of the Allens will do the analysis, I'm sure. But it's tackle after tackle, it's block after block, and players putting their bodies on the line, basically, for the time, and they got the points. Some might say they might, with a little bit more. Remy is just a bit short in fitness, but once he comes to terms with the Premiership, him and Tarab, that could be the deal that gets them to survive.
We saw a tweet go through there on the screen from I'm assuming maybe not a QPR fan actually, just saying they need to do more than try and hang on away from home. And you certainly couldn't argue that with Reading. Reading were very positive this afternoon in that second half at St James's Park.
Yeah, incredibly positive. You know, just to see them play and again, as like QPR, they were throwing bodies on the line, doing everything they possibly could to get the result. They were superb. Reading have just showed me that they've got enough. They've got enough.
Newcastle. It's going to be a long 2 weeks for Alan Pardew.
It's FA Cup next weekend. They're out of the FA Cup. So
you start losing those Geordie hardcore fans, you're in trouble. I mean, Newcastle have got some. They've got some important games coming up. They've got Villa away. They've got to win that, haven't they? They've got Chelsea at home, Tottenham away. These are big games for Alan Pardew. Some people might start asking, is he the man for the job? But that's what his run of games has done to him.
They've announced today of Newcastle that they've signed the 23-year-old Montpellier captain Mapu Yanga Mbiwa. He was apparently on Arsenal's radar. He made his international debut for France last year. But the thing is, Dion, for all that will be a boost for them, and, you know, defensively maybe they could do with a couple of reinforcements, Newcastle fans will be going, well, hang on a minute, we didn't get Loic Remy, we've lost Demba Ba, we're going to need somebody to help Papi Cisse with the goals.
Completely, and having played at Newcastle many times before, they don't hang about. They will voice their opinion, you know, time after time until they get what they want for their football club. A home defeat, with all due respect to Reading, is a terrible result, but Reading deserved the win on the performance.
Pardew's got to sort the situation out. Amiobi and Cisse don't look a comfortable pair up front. They're not happy with each other. That was my interpretation of the game today. Colaccini, good player, got to resolve that. But it seems to me that Newcastle are suffering from the hangover of losing Bar.
What are Wigan suffering from? Because that 90 minutes we watched of their game against Sunderland kind of encapsulates them. They can be sensational to watch sometimes, and then at other times infuriatingly inept.
Yeah, they are, because we've just seen them for the last 15 minutes have the ball and pass it, looking like, you know, Barcelona and Real Madrid, not wanting to go long, but believing in what the manager's telling them to do by pass, create chances. Sometimes it can infuriate, especially when you're 3-2 down and you need to get a result. But their ethics are great. And what you see there, might be enough just to help them out and keep them up.
I've got to say to you, I'm looking at the bottom of this Premier League. There's 8 teams in here. I mean, Norwich lost their 5 at Liverpool. Yeah. Chris Hughton won't sleep comfortable tonight. And there'll be 1 or 2 managers besides.
Not besides Chris Hughton trying to get to sleep.
You know what I meant.
That's one big bed. Now, you can watch action for that match and all the day's action with Gary Lineker, Mark Lawrenson and Alan Shearer tonight at 10:30 on BBC One. Plus, Colin Murray has Alan Hansen and Pat Nevin with him tomorrow to dissect Chelsea against Arsenal and Spurs versus Manchester United. And the Masters snooker continues tonight. You've got semi-final action from 7 on BBC 2, and the final is also on BBC 2 tomorrow from 1:55. Probably most impressive performance of the afternoon came from Liverpool. 5-0 win over Norwich at Anfield. Let's talk to Steve Bauer, commentator on this game for Match of the Day this evening. All about Suarez and Sturridge, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah, that's what we talked about before the game, Mark, and it made a big difference to Liverpool, quite simply. They started on the front foot. The difference today was inside the first 25 minutes, they got a goal, a spectacular strike from Jordan Henderson, and right from that moment, you felt Liverpool were off and running. And the big crucial difference as well was they converted chances that they haven't been doing all the time under Brendan Rodgers, his biggest win as Liverpool manager. But let's give him credit today because he changed the way he plays. We know that he's a 4-3-3 man. We know that's what he did at Swansea. We know that's one of the reasons why Andy Carroll didn't fit in at the start of the season. But he went with the 4-4-2. He went with Suarez in behind Sturridge. And I tell you what, they probably only met each other 3 weeks ago. But Liverpool fans will be talking in the pubs right at the moment very positively about the link-up with Suarez and with Sturridge. They both scored. Suarez, of course, had to score against Norwich. But the link-up play, and suddenly the Norwich back four had somebody else to think about apart from Luis Suarez, and it brought Henderson into play, Downing and Gerrard, who also scored, and Liverpool could have had more, in all honesty. You were talking about Chris Hughton sleeping uncomfortably tonight. I'm sure he'll be awake all night going over this one because they started the day with 1 point from 15. That's extended to 1 point from 18. They were blown away today, and they've got Spurs at home and Queen's Park Rangers away next. So big problems for Norwich, but a big, big day for Liverpool, their biggest win under Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of focus, won't there, Dion and Garth, on Sturridge and Suarez, but Henderson came to the fore, Downing was instrumental. I
think that Sturridge is having the impact on Liverpool that Denver Boys had on Newcastle the other way around. Newcastle feel depleted and perhaps sorry for themselves. Liverpool, on the other hand, suddenly Sturridge is come in and he's given everybody a lift. The players lift, the fans lift, everybody.
Yeah, it was just a lesson in how to play the game of football.
That's it from us on BBC One. Thanks to Dion and Garth. They're going to stay with me on the red button there. We'll get all the day's reaction on there, so join us on the red button. And next week, it's all about the FA Cup. So we'll see you on Final Score next Saturday. Bye-bye.